work for that Looney Tune guy in Brooklyn?
Staten Island?
Yeah. So,
I did one show there, and I threatened to kick a guy's ass.
Okay.
And then
You're the bad guy, yeah.
And then I waited for him.
Yeah, I know how it is. It's like, believe me, I've been through all this shit. And he's a lunatic. Can't have him in here anymore. Can't book him.
You're listening to Fight Stories.
Hey, this is Tyler. You're listening to another episode of Fight Stories, brought to you by Absolute Nature CBD. Head over to AbsoluteNatureCBD.com. Use the promo code Goon Squad. They're going to set you up with 20% off all of their 100% natural CBD products. That's AbsoluteNatureCBD.com. And big shout out to Absolute Nature CBD for supporting the podcast and all you guys who keep coming back week after week. We see you on Twitter and on social media shouting us out and giving us great feedback. We love hearing from you. If there's someone you think should be on this podcast, make sure you let us know. We're always interested in finding new fighters and new fight stories because everyone's got one, baby. And the momentum keeps rolling for this thing, and it's in no small part to you guys. We got a lot of big shows coming up. Wow, we're going to be an official event at the New York Comedy Festival, November 10th at Old Man Hustle Comedy Bar. Sunday, November 10th. John and I are both going to be there doing a live recording with a special guest. Make sure you get your tickets. New York Comedy Festival's website, $5. That's it. We want everyone to be able to come out and be part of these. So hopefully we see you there. We also have another live event in St. Louis. St. Louis, November 22nd. We're going to be over at Trainwreck Saloon, Westport, with our friend Darren Kimball, who's been on the podcast before, St. Louis Blues alumni, wicked enforcer, and also another deadly scrapper. Cam Jansen is going to be there, and maybe a couple other heavyweight guests. You never know who's going to pop in. That city is cup crazy right now, so make sure you come see us in St. Louis. It's going to be all over our social media. We'll get those links blasting around. Or you can get them right at Trainwreck Saloon, Westport, St. Louis. So let's, hopefully we see you guys out there. Things are just getting crazy. And this episode that we got lined up for you today, it is no different. Oh, my God. John met up with a comedy legend in New Jersey. This guy doesn't even need an introduction, but I'll give a little bit of one. He's an absolutely hilarious stand-up comedian. He's been featured on Howard Stern. He's like a regular on Howard Stern for many years, and also a staple of Anthony Cumia's show on Compound Media. Been on the Killers of Comedy tour, does regular shows with Artie Lang. Guys, strap yourselves in, buckle the fuck up. I give you the living legend, Mr. Reverend Bob Levy.
John Moses, another episode of Fight Stories. Fuck, I'm deep in the woods of New Jersey, talking to the legend, Reverend Bob Levy. Bob, I'm in your living room. Thanks for having me here, man.
Hey, it's good to have you here in the boondocks and hidden in Jersey.
Yeah.
The only people that know where I live is you and the FBI and the NYPD Blue.
Yeah.
They found this place, no problem. You were going around in a circle outside. I see.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy delivering the child support papers, he showed up.
Oh yeah. That's great when you get into a car accident and you can't pay your child support when your son's living with you actually, and then they throw you in jail.
That's a fucking
so I
crazy
was
story.
in jail. You know, if I wasn't crazy, I would have been raped so bad for being in there for such a little crime. You know what I mean?
Act.
What are you in for murder? What are you in for child support? Back off, bitch.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, so this is how I called you up and started reaching out to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I already did the show.
Oh, you did?
Early. And right off the fucking rip. And we were waiting for you to do that show that we did that night. We did a show somewhere.
Is that where you showed up
yeah,
and Artie didn't show up?
That's right.
And I had to do like an hour
and
or
you
something.
Did an hour?
And then you did like whatever after. And then Artie showed up at like 2 in the morning.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
Then he
and then
stayed
did
up for 2 hours.
2.5 hours, dude.
Yeah. And everybody was
They were
leaving.
like, we want Artie. And after that, they're like, no, we don't. No, we don't.
That was funny.
That was a real great night.
They ended up losing that room, and of course, I got yelled at for it. You know what I mean? It was.
Yeah, all you were doing was covering his ass. So earlier that night, we're doing a podcast, and Artie's like, "Yeah, fucking Bob," and then he tells me this fucking how your closer, how you used to bring a chick up on stage and eat blue cheese out of her ass.
Yeah, it was a different time back then. I mean, like, basically, sexual assault was likable on stage.
Dude, now you can't go out somebody on Twitter and you're eating salad dressing out of somebody's ass 2-3 nights a week.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I never got a blue cheese deal, which, you know what I mean, pissed me off. Paul Newman never called, nobody. I mean, I was thinking of making my own blue cheese, but it was just something that happened in South Carolina that some girl that looked like Whitney Houston, you know, she was black too. And,
you ate blue cheese out of a black chick's ass in South Carolina to start it off?
She wanted money, okay? She needed money. So Florentine came up with the idea, what if we come up with some money and he eats something out of your ass? And, and all they had was the blue cheese, and they had it in, like, mustard and ketchup little things that you would rip. That's how it is down south. They don't have it in, you know, so... Basically,
little travel pack.
Yeah, Jim's like, you know, ripping the little packages open and putting it in a crack. And then the next night on stage, I get a standing ovation with everyone with blue cheese. It just went all over the town. And that's how it all became.
So you ate the blue cheese out of the chick's ass privately first? Like
it was after a show at the bar. You know, just a young, pretty girl needing money. So who else was going to help her but me and Florentine?
Yeah, super, super charitable.
Yeah.
And then you decide. So at what point did you say, "Man, this would be a great fucking closing bit"?
You know what I mean? It was like it was me. Yeah, I mean, it just continued from there, and then like Casey Armstrong heard about it, and then we started working. And then he told Howard about it, and I called in about the blue cheese. That's my first call.
So you got on Howard because of the fucking blue cheese, eating the blue cheese out of the ass.
Yeah, and then like I sat in one day, and it went really good. And I said, Jim, come in with me because I'm a little nervous. You know, you get nervous. I mean, he's like a hero, you know.
Of course.
And it just went great from there, and it was a great run until, you know, it just got to be too much for me, you know.
So how many chicks do you estimate you ate blue cheese out of their asses out of? This can't be the first time you've been asked this question.
It has to be. No, it probably is because I'm saying it had to be hundreds.
Right.
I mean, I was going to retire when I got a mother and a daughter there, and that was like I think that was in Houston.
You got a mother and a daughter,
and the husband was there.
And you ate blue cheese out of this guy's family's ass.
Yes, basically. I was shocked at that. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, I have to retire. How can you continue?
How do you top this?
Yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable.
So Artie said that it was about 2 years that you were using that as your closing bit, but was it longer than that?
It might have been because, you know, whenever I was doing the Killers of Comedy or whatever, I had to do it because everybody listened to Stern and they would yell for it.
Right.
And if you didn't do it, forget it. I mean, the crowd wanted it. What am I supposed to do? You know what I mean?
I mean, if you got people volunteering, I mean.
Yeah, that's my Thunder Road. You know what I mean? I had to do it. You know?
It's pretty rock and roll.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, I post the Artie episode, and I'm just laughing about the blue cheese.
Oh,
I think I posted on Facebook, and then my buddy sends a picture, and it's of you at Comics with fucking Vinny Paz, who we had on the show, and don't ask me how I spaced on not asking this guy, because I asked Artie, I said, did anybody ever get fucking violent with them? And he goes, not that I ever saw.
No, I don't think from that. I remember at the Stress Factory, this guy, I didn't know he just got back from overseas, but he's with his girl. You know what I mean? He comes, and she comes on stage, and the girl's like flipping out. She goes to Vinny, you know, oh, he's really mad at me. And Vinny goes, I wonder why. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? And I felt so bad because he was, you know, he was over fighting for us. But he was there and like.
He's fighting for your freedom to eat blue cheese out his girl's ass.
Out of his girl's ass. And she was like, she couldn't understand why he was mad. Like, I figure they both agree with it. You know what I mean? Like Vince Neil once in Vegas when I was with Artie, he came out, he goes, $100 he gave a girl to come on stage, you know? Like the first time I was on Howard, when I was on Howard, listen, this is amazing, this one. They bring a girl on there shortly after I'm there at the beginning, and they want me to eat blue cheese out of her ass, right?
Right.
And to me, I'm saying, this is the Howard Stern show. And I'm like, that's a dude. So I'm just yelling, that's not a woman. And it was a woman. And then, you know what I mean? It was bad enough that I was going to eat blue cheese out of her ass, but I was calling her a man. And that was the funniest part of it to me. Afterwards, when I look at it, I go, God God, that was a girl that I was calling a man, saying that's a dude. And how fucking insulting is that? You know what I mean? She's letting this slub eat fucking blue cheese out of his ass, and he's calling her a fucking man.
Yeah, and you're turning her down. Like, I don't think so.
No,
buddy.
not that
good
dude.
Enough. Not good enough.
You ain't gonna trick me. I can tell. You know?
So I was surprised that fucking Paz didn't freak out because, you know, he's a little jumpy.
Paz
but I
is
guess
great.
He loved it.
I love Paz. Me and Paz get along great.
I bet.
I miss him. You know, he came to every one of my shows in Rhode Island. You know what I mean? He would bring. I think I ate a girl's ass that he brought on stage. That was
He
with
did.
him.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay,
That's the
yeah.
fucking story.
Yeah, you see
and
that?
I fucking couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Generous.
Yes, he's a giver. You know what I mean? He likes to share with his friends. I mean, the nicest guy in the world. The nicest guy in the world that you would never want to fuck with.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That you don't want to cross.
He is badass.
Yeah.
But he's the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
And I love him, you know?
Yeah, he was great. He you know, welcomed us right in his living room, much like yourself.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, I miss him. And that's why I want to get, you know, go down to Rhode Island
Hey,
and see him again.
We'll have to get a live one going.
Yeah,
Live fight stories with you and Paz in Rhode Island.
Well, yeah, let's go down there again. Let's find somebody that'll fucking
Yeah.
book us, that wants to book funny, instead of fucking somebody that can bring 30 people. It's
Yeah.
huge on YouTube.
Some chick with glasses and a cat sweater.
I'm in therapy.
Yeah.
You should be. You should be in my yard in a fucking hole. Fucking unfunny twat. But I'm not jealous of anyone. I'm still the best, but fuck it.
That's right. So during those days were fucking rock and roll,
Yeah, they were.
right? I mean, really. And I don't know, just from what you're telling me, were there any fights that you were involved in during those days? Did it ever get that wild?
Oh, yeah, you know, I was, you know, when you kind of think of it now, okay, the first one, this happened before, me and Florentine are doing Staten Island, right? And you know how, like, sometimes people want to be part of your show,
Yeah.
but then they make a mistake by being part of the wrong person's show, and
Yeah.
they get embarrassed,
Right.
and they get fucking ridiculed.
Right.
There was a guy, I'm not going to say he was a midget, but you know what I mean? He could have been on one of those shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Little people
Yeah.
from Atlanta or whatever. You know what I mean? He had like the donkey ass, and you know he moved in that shit with the big fucking head, you know, and he's saying shit, and then afterwards I'm getting paid. He gives me the money, the guy,
Yeah.
and he goes. The little fella says, you know, I look down and I hear somebody from down there going,
Yeah.
I should get half of that because I was half of your show. And I'm like, whatever, you know. And he goes, how about I punch you in the face? I go, go ahead. So he goes and swings at me, and I'm counting the money, and I just put my head back and forth.
Yeah.
And he's swinging, and he's missing. and all of a sudden, I just sidekick him into a wall. And I hear Florentine go, nice. Because, anything, whether it's brutal or whatever, to Florentine, it could be like, you know what I mean, a lady giving birth, nice, you know, or fucking me kicking a midget into a wall. He's like, nice.
Oh, yeah, what a great reaction.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, hell breaks out. You know what I mean? They got this fucking guy stuck in a spider web in the corner of a wall. And fucking, now
You
I'm
basically kicked a fucking person with a disability.
Well, he wasn't. He was just small. He wasn't a midget. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He was not a midget, but he was small. You know, but he shouldn't be. You know, it's a show. I know what to do. And so now I'm the bad guy. You know what I mean? I have a fucking small fucking, Staten Island or where I grew up.
Yeah.
Everybody's badass out there. They think it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I ended up
Everybody's got a
fucking,
chip on their shoulder.
yeah. I mean, it was a small chip on his shoulder, but he was mad. A little fella gets mad. And all of a sudden, they're throwing me out of the club.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I was like, that's horrible. I was like, I was almost assaulted by that wingless bug. Wingless bug. He looked like a fly without the wings on it. And, he's just like in front of me going back and forth. But, and then another one, we were in Florida, After the show, it's me, Casey, and Artie.
Yeah.
This is like the beginning when Artie first started coming with us. And welcome with us, the fucking mad tour.
Yeah.
It was just insane. And these fucking Guido, everybody's from New York. Everybody's like fucking gangster, they think, and that shit. And they're fucking with KC, and they're fucking with Artie. And I just fucking, I didn't know what was going on, and I just see them being annoying. They're being fucking real annoying.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I just fucking wailed one of the guys in the fucking face. And, you know, he went flying. And next thing you know, there's tables all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
And it was fucking insane. You know what I mean?
Melee.
And Artie's like, why'd you hit him for? And he was like, it was like he was being annoying, you know? And it was like, that's when I was drinking. And, like, you know, I don't know why.
I was about to ask you how far into the bottles you were.
Oh, I used to get fucked up. You know, that's why I stopped drinking, because I wanted to kill somebody after a show, you know? And it was like, it just you know, it's like, people got to realize, you know, you're doing a show, but, you know, it's kind of fake, you know, whatever. But
right.
It's like, you enjoy yourself. Don't take it personally. You know what I mean? You know, you go to a movie and want to beat up the guy that's showing it on the screen because you're fucking mad at something.
Right.
You know, nobody beats somebody up for
and more often than not, you know, the person who was getting it because he was running his mouth.
Well, that's it. And you know what? There was a fight with the blue cheese at the same club. Now, you're thinking Boca Raton. You're thinking aging Jews with bad hips.
Yeah.
No. You're thinking fucking people that are coming in there that are fucking out of their mind. There's a lot of drugs, a lot of fucking drinking. It's warm, okay? When it's hot, you know, look at that fucking
flare.
Mosquito.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
If that thing was any bigger, I could fuck it. Look at that thing. Oh, my
I
God.
just knocked it down beside you. Now's your
Fucking
chance.
don't piss it off. Hold it. Hold its wings. That's not even a mosquito. Look at the dogs running. Like, that fucking thing will carry me, and I'm 60 pounds of fat. Look at that fucking thing. It looks like a fucking tick dog. He's gonna explode. No, but the the one time I was there another time with Bob Gollop.
This is all Florida.
This is Boca, the same
You gotta
fucking
go to
club.
fucking Florida.
Yeah, I'm going there in 2 weeks, and that's going to be scary because I'm doing the same club, but it's a theater now. So it's going to be scary. I know something's going to happen.
You got
'cause
these
they're insane.
vendettas.
Yeah, oh, fuck yeah. But the whole thing is, like, Bob Gollop's on stage, and now I see the room. Like, it wasn't like a fight broke out. The room was shifting back and forth like a wave. That's how the fight was going.
Right.
And it was just kept growing on that side of the room, and people were just leaving in that. But one time I'm eating blue cheese out of this girl's ass, right? I close the show. I kind of jump off the stage. It's kind of high, so I do the little scoot.
Yeah.
And I land, and I feel like a little, you know, just a little push on my back. Might have been like good show, maybe not. I go into the back room. I'm sitting on the couch. All of a sudden, I see this guy just dive at me. So he dives at me, and thank God I was able to just, like, you know, as soon as he landed on me, I just twisted him. And so I was on top of him. Now we're in the corner, and now I'm just like, boom,
Raining down.
boom, boom, boom. All of a sudden, Gollop comes in the back, and Bob Gollop kicks the guy right in the fucking face. Now the owner, Don Siegel, right, who Artie always talks about, he's like, Artie, you have a call. That's when his grandfather died. You know, like, he'll say a few words that you understand, like, I got to tell you, his grandfather died. What? You know, you don't know what's going on. So now Don goes to grab the guy. The guy pulls out a knife, goes to stab him.
Come on.
Yes, this is all true. You can ask Bob Gollop. You can ask Don Siegel. He goes to stab him, but he steps down on a step and misses. You understand? So now he goes outside. They get in their car to leave. Don jumps on the hood of the car. The guy takes off. He's flying down the thing with his toupee flipping in the air. And all of a sudden he gets thrown. It was like the biggest scene. And the cops come and all this shit. And then Don comes up to me and he goes, Bob, can you not do the blue cheese tomorrow night? But you see what I'm saying? That's when comedy was fun.
It was nuts. What year is this? Fucking 2000.
2000s,
right?
yeah.
Jesus Christ! It
Yeah.
doesn't even seem that long ago, but it seems like
It is
another
forever.
era.
You know what I mean? Being out of comedy since the car accident for 2 years.
Yeah.
When I came back, I'm like, what happened to comedy? You see how quick it changes?
It's funny. It's true. It does. It changes under your feet, man.
It's like, oh, we're going to put this comedian on the show with you. He's a really good feature. And I go, I never heard of him. And I'm like, how long has he been doing? He goes, about 4 months. You know what I mean? We're paying him $50 a show. And I'm like, really? You think he's really good for $50 a show?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, everybody's like, you know, we're going to, you know, we're taking care of these new comedians. And I'm like, you know, so I figured, let me help out new comedian. I said, looking for a comedian, $25 each to come to my house. and fix my deck, and then you can get a video on my deck afterwards with me. So you can send it, because they're so stupid. If I wanted to rob people, I'd get into comedy. I would get into anybody that's a crooked motherfucker out there.
Yeah.
Comedians they'll never call the cops on you. They'll never fucking, you know what I mean? They'll never beat your ass in.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what I don't understand about this business.
Right.
And people get fucked over all the time. If you don't take control, and if you do take control, like me, you're like me, you're fucking out of your mind. We are the problem. We're like, well, he's a little difficult to work with. Well, you're supposed to pay me on time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not supposed to wait 6 months because you're a lazy cunt.
Right, for $400.
Yeah, fucking, do what you're supposed to do. In any other business, think if any other business, would you not get beaten up for what you're fucking doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The answer's probably not, but maybe roofing.
Well, yeah. You know what I mean? Well, that's the same thing. It's like, well, we're going to fix your roof, but, we're going to do half of it, We're going to send new guys.
I was surprised to know that you were, a little chippy like that, or a little jumpy.
Yeah.
Did you do some boxing back in Staten Island?
I did boxing,
Yeah?
but I had, rotator cuff problems. I did kickboxing and all that
Really?
shit. Yeah. I mean, it was fun. But, you fuck up yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Boxing's a tough one. I mean, you get in great shape, and, the good thing about that fucking jiu-jitsu stuff, the training, is you don't take shots in the head when you're training.
no.
Whereas boxing, you do. The bad thing about jiu-jitsu is instead of shots in the head, you got some guy's fucking dick and balls all over your gut while
Yeah.
you're wrestling around on the mat.
Yeah, I mean, you leave and you feel like you've been fucking, like a squid shot you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
all
you're
like-
shamed. You almost
You're
feel like,
shamed.
you know what I mean? You're like a rape victim. You know what I mean? It's like, I just need to shower. Can you call my mom? Pick me up.
With your crushed ears.
Yeah. Did he come on you? Just drive.
So,
Just get me home.
what about your
Don't tell
fights?
Daddy.
We're not doing this at the community center anymore.
This was your idea.
So prior to, I'm guessing, before the blue cheese, you didn't get into any other scuffles doing comedy, or did you?
No, it was pretty. At the beginning it was normal. I don't
Right.
remember any. Just before comedy, it was
Okay.
It was crazy.
So let's talk about it.
Oh, growing up in Staten Island, yeah, it was just like fucking. Every weekend was like, we'd either stay at our bar and get into fights there,
Right.
or we'd go to another bar and fight
Right.
them.
With whoever wasn't familiar.
Yeah, but we'd go over to Jersey, and we'd be in a bar, and we would just go up and drink people's drinks.
Yeah.
And not pay for drinks, just drink their drinks. And
Right.
they wouldn't do any. And if they did do something happened.
It was on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember my friend, like this little guy, Dave, he was a Marine.
Yeah.
I know Stewie, one of them, they were both fucking animals. Like the smallest one were the toughest ones. They
Right.
were fucking, and the bouncer was like, you ain't gonna do this shit here. And he goes, well, what are you gonna do? And he goes, I'll fucking kick you. My friend is on top of him, beating the shit out of this huge bouncer.
Yeah.
To get him off me.
Yeah.
Because it was brutal.
Yeah.
Like we used to have, my job was to, in my bar that we hung out with, I used to make fun of people that came in that we didn't know, so they wanted to fight us.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into comedy. My friend said, you're pretty funny, why don't you try to open mic, And
just from fucking wisecracking at the bar when you're half liquored up.
yeah, the people that came in and they did want to fight, and like, I remember just
That's
like,
also a tough guy neighborhood. It's not a full compliment.
yeah.
It's like, you're pretty funny. It's not, dude, you're fucking hilarious. It's, hey, you're pretty funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not,
Yeah.
they won't give you the whole fucking cherry.
Yeah. You remember that time that you kind of made me laugh when that guy after he got his ear cut off at the bar?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it was crazy because I remember one time this one girl, Patty, they used to call her Fatty Patty, nice girl, but she met some guy there and she was going to leave with him, and we're like, you're not going to leave. They had a van, you know what I mean? Nobody, look.
You guys are looking out for Fatty Patty.
Yeah, because if you had
That's
a
nice.
van, you know what I mean, you were up to no good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You were doing something bad back then. And she gets in the back. There's a guy.
This was pre Who's the Boss, I guess.
Yeah, you know what I mean? We didn't have Tony Danza to save everybody.
Yeah.
So, she's in the van with them. They're driving away. Now the back of the van's open. The guy's like fucking with us as they're leaving. He's got a fucking with throwing fucking like 2x4s. You know what I mean? And pieces of brain. You know, the woods were right across the street. Yeah. And the guy's like, fuck you. And it fucking turns and he falls out. He falls out in a bunch of wolves there to fucking. The van was not going to stop.
Oh, those fucking weasels.
Pussies. But we knew. This guy, he got mauled. I mean, he got mauled. He got stomped. He got hit with everything. Like, you know, it was like you just left people like nobody did anything. The cops would be like, don't do that again.
Right.
You know, nobody got in trouble. It was just everybody always got into a fight. Yeah. You know, you either won or you're lost. That's how it is. You came home bleeding. That was it.
Yeah, I got that's what it was like growing up in Canada. And then there was also no guns, so you never worried about a gun getting pulled. Yeah, you just went outside and you went.
There was guns later on.
Right.
You know, there was knives and shit, which we never, you know. I never dealt with that shit.
Yeah, me neither.
I didn't like that.
I had a pair of brass knuckles one time. I took a swing at a guy like to take his face off, and he wasn't as drunk as I was and had a little training, and he just slipped it and fucking knocked me out.
Well, see, that's what it is, you know.
Yeah.
It's like when you have something, you got to use it, otherwise you're in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but, like, I remember, like, leaving a club. It was a Century Inn. Years ago, we're leaving, and all of a sudden, everyone's drunk, and it's a guy and a girl leaving, right? We're like, you know, you're parked into like gravel and dirt, you know what I mean? That's the way you were at the bar when you were leaving. And what happens? The woman starts melting off, and the guy says one thing.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he's getting mauled.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. I look over, the guy's head is like, you know, it's sitting there like a football. My friend we all used to wear, like, I still wear them, black metal boots, you know what I mean? The closers, we called them, because it was closer time. And he just fucking, remember the football player that was missing half his foot, Dempsey? You know how he would kick the football straight, he would walk forward? That's how he kicked the guy in the fucking head.
Yeah.
The guy's fucking, his whole face was like done.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like
They did arrest my friend, and he took the rap for everybody. You see, that was nice. Right. You know what I mean? Instead of just everyone going to their house and fucking, you know, the cops coming in there. Like, he was there. That didn't happen, you know?
Right.
And he just took the rap for it, and that was it. And nothing happened, really.
Yeah,
it was like
except for that guy.
Well, yeah,
I mean, walk through a fucking metal detector.
I would have broke up with her because she.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's 4 people.
And the funny thing is, she probably broke up with him. It was like, you pussy.
Yeah, I can't believe he fucking tried to bite the guy's shoe.
Yeah. She's probably dated one of your buddies.
But yeah, I mean, who knows back then? It was so fucking crazy. It was such a different. It's so different when you try to think about, you know, imagine growing up here.
Well, that's
being
why,
like that.
You know, that's how this thing started because, you know, whenever I go home back to Toronto and I meet with my old buddies, we always talk about our old bar fights and laugh.
Yeah.
But anybody outside that group is like,
oh, you guys are
dude,
sick.
This sounds fucking insane. And I'm like, you don't even tell people because they wouldn't believe you if you told them.
And that's what it is. You know what I mean? It's like you can't even really get into a lot of the stories because it's fucking insane.
Right.
It's like you couldn't have done that to somebody's house. You know what I mean? You couldn't have fucking pushed a fucking huge rock under their fucking fence when they had the slats on it, you know what I mean, a silver fence with the slats, and you can just push a huge rock under and fucking have 6 guys push it up on the side of a fucking above ground pole and plump into their fucking pole that they have to get a fucking a crane to get the rock out.
Yeah.
And you have a party at the house and your friend jerks off into the mayo. But this shit happened, you know what I mean? I was there, and it was almost like this is, you know what I mean? It's like we were sick, you know, wreck somebody's fucking house, and you know what I mean? Because they were stupid enough to have a party at their house. My friend's climbing up the cable wire like Batman on the side until the fucking antenna, remember the big antennas, comes flying off the roof. The couch is on fire. Yeah, the couch is on fire. We're putting it out with fucking beer and that. The house is done, you know what I mean? And it's like they come to your house and they're like, my son wouldn't do that. And you're laying in fucking all liquid out. It was just a crazy time, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like there could have been 3 movies written about it.
Oh, fuck, yeah. I mean, almost every weekend, you know?
Yeah.
Almost every weekend there was something like
Well,
just
we would go
nothing.
out. We would go out with the intention of fighting or fucking, and we didn't fuck that much. So
Yeah, I know. That was
something happened.
That was the fun. That was the one thing. You know, it was like when I used to deal weed and then coke at one time, but it was all to my friends and for me to have it. You know, it was so
Basically,
easy.
so you could do it for free.
Yeah, it's like here, you want to try a line? You know, here, do one, and they're like, yeah, of course they're gonna buy it. Of course they're gonna get it fronted.
Right.
You know, and then I got this hot chick. You know, you get chicks that were out of your league, but who gives a shit? And you know, you'd fuck them in the car or fucking even in front of the bar on the sidewalk because the windows were tinted in the bar, so they wouldn't know any better. They think it was closed at 2 in the morning or at 1 in the morning, and your friends are watching. But I got this one girl in the bar, and I'm like, her pussy is so moist and that shit. I walk into the bar. And I'm everybody dressed like Fonzie. Then we had like a white T-shirt and a fucking black jacket. You know what I mean?
You came in looking like the butcher.
Yeah, and I had blood on my face, and they're like, "Who the fuck did that to you?"
Yeah.
I had it on my shirt. I had it on my face. And they're like, "What are you talking?" They're like, "Well, fucking kill him." And I'm like, and then I realized what fucking happened. I go, "No, I just fucked a girl." And
Dude, that's the best non-fight story.
Yeah, I mean, that was the most brutal I ever looked at. You know what I mean? I've got pounded in the head, and the fucking, you know, it hurts, but you know, it's like, you know, you get over it. You know, it's like,
well, that's it. You take a beating, and then you shake it off, and then you're like, "Oh, I wasn't so bad. I can do that again."
It's
and you
not
start to
as
feel
bad
invincible.
as people think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, you don't want to do that when you're 40.
No, and it's like, you know, it's like you
But
don't
when you're a
realize
kid,
how.
you got that Wolverine genetics.
Yeah, it's like, wow, I lost that one. Fuck.
Yeah.
You know.
But your buddies tell you a hilarious story, and it's all worth it.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, but you know, fucking when you fucking threw a rock at him, he kind of pistoled in his pants, you know. But you know, it was just like, you know, when you got a beaten, you knew you got a beat, and you just go, how can I get even? You would look at every.
Yeah.
I'm just going to hit him when he's not looking one day. And, you know, you would do that, you know, and it would start again.
So many people these days, even like young comics, I feel like could really benefit from getting punched in the face.
No, definitely.
You know what I mean? Just like a real good fucking shot. So maybe you'd settle down a couple degrees when you're on Twitter acting like a big shot.
Well,
you know what I mean?
a lot of people need that. You know, there's nothing. It's better than any counselor. Like, I would like to open up a counseling school where you just come in and I say, "What's the matter?" And go, "Well, this person," and you fucking just jab them right in the fucking nose and go, "Tell me more." And they're like, "Well, you know, my mother boom, you fucking pussy, you fucking."
There's another script. We just got to turn this into a writing session.
No, really, because it really is. I mean, it's like you're going to come to me and I got to keep it clean. I'm like sitting there going, "Oh, really? Tell me more about. You think your cat is mad at you? Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
sometimes
fuck.
I think like what this country needs is a draft just for a day so people can panic and then they cancel the whole thing and then they go, "You know what? I didn't have any problems."
Well, that's what it is. It's like everybody will pay. You know what I mean? I can't go to war. I'm allergic to peanut butter. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. You know,
Yeah,
we
imagine
didn't.
being an 18-year-old and you're like, you either got to run into that machine gun or I'm going to fucking shoot you.
If we went to war like that today,
Yeah.
we would not be fucking winning
Yeah,
anything.
Yeah.
We would not be. They would just throw their arms up and just be like, "Yeah, fucking take me."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Please, I want to go home.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way. Like, I can look at my kid. There's no way. He plays music. That's what he wants to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He couldn't go to war.
Right.
You know what I mean? He watches me being crazy all the time. He's got a little of that in him, but no, he's not that kid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I can go to war now. Now I feel like I'm ready.
Yeah.
I do. I believe that the military should let anybody in that can pass
A physical
a
fitness
physical
test.
test, no matter how old they are. Because
I
wouldn't
think
you rather
that's
be?
a good way to go.
Yeah, but wouldn't
Instead
you rather
of doing
be?
heroin at 70, just going and fucking plugging a couple
Exactly. You know what I mean? You fucking go out there. It's like some guy in a diaper shot 17 Japs. You know? But can you imagine, like, would you rather be with an 18-year-old kid that is scared to shit or somebody in their 50s that doesn't give a fuck?
Nothing to lose.
He's got a lump on his liver.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
Who would you fucking rather be at war with?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, the kids don't know anything. They don't know what outside is. They don't know anything these days. They don't hang out. You know what I mean? No kids know how to hang out on a street corner anymore and have a good time without being a dick.
I know it.
It's got to stop right away because they're just acting like assholes. Go and have fun.
I think some of it's on the parents, too. I mean, how many 8-year-old, 9-year-old kids walk to school by themselves anymore?
They don't.
Right.
I do a bit. I fucking was... I went to the fucking... where you were at the Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not even 4 minutes away.
Right.
It took me 35 minutes to get back to here because school buses stop every block.
Right.
Every fucking block.
Right.
Like somebody's going to take your fat loser kid. Nobody wants that fucking molest that little chubby loser that's never been outside.
A little lesbian face-looking boy.
I know. It's like get in your room before you get too much oxygen. We got to get you in the car.
This episode is brought to you by Absolute Nature CBD, premium 100% natural CBD oil and CBD oil products. Absolute Nature CBD is organic. There is no shit in there. No GMOs, preservatives, additives, any of that stuff. And it's made right here in the good old US of A. If you're already using a CBD or a CBD oil product, then check out Absolute. You've had the rest. Now it's time for the best. They give a big discount for veterans and people with long-term disability, but for you, the Fight Stories listener, you get a 20% discount by pumping in the code Goon Squad. Just go to www.absolutenaturecbd.com and order your product today.
Okay. Grand opening, club in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? The real opening.
Pips?
No, Tickles,
okay.
It was
Tickles.
called.
Okay.
And all these mobsters come in. But, like, you don't... Okay, there's a guy coming in, dressed up, fucking huge, big hat.
Yeah.
I used to work the audience a lot more then, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
They're trying to get to me, come backstage and tell me, don't make fun of this guy. He's going to be sitting up front.
Why did you sit that fucking guy up front?
Because
Put him in a goddamn VIP
because
booth.
he's important, you understand?
Right.
He has to be up front. I start fucking busting on it. Next thing you know, they're like, he wants to kill you. And I'm like, what are you talking? They go, he's really mad right now. And he goes, do me a favor, sit and with those people there, sit in the middle. And I'm like, what, he's not going to shoot me in the middle?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're going to, let me just, talk. And they're like, okay, where are you going to be next week? And I said, I'm going to Canada for like 2 weeks. And he goes, all right, by the time you come back, we'll probably get him to calm down and that shit. And it was just like the weirdest thing. Like, because when they're not with their wives, you can do anything.
Right.
If they're with their wives, all of a sudden you're not funny anymore unless you're totally. They're very respectful with their wives around, but when they're not, then anything goes.
My problem is whenever I see some guy in a biker outfit, if it's not a fucking Hell's Angel, I'm like, look at this fucking phony ass motherfucker, fake tough guy piece of shit, and then I'll go at him, and then no, that's not the case at all.
Yeah, well, that's the truth. That is the truth because I did another thing. I go to a private party, like I work for Pease. He sends me a lot of private parties, right? I'm like, he's like me without the puppet. He tells them. So I go there. It's all he tells me what it's going to be.
Right.
I go there. Now let's go back years ago to the Gingerbread Lounge in Staten Island.
Okay.
I end up getting a half a gram of coke. My friend Bob is there. Robert, I think he used to go by. Robert. So you want to do a line? We can go in there. Got a straw. I do a line. He does a line out of the bag. But he doesn't do a line. He does the whole fucking thing.
Furious.
So I'm furious. We get out of the thing. I just punch him in the side of the fucking head. The owner of the bar goes to jump over the bar, Paulie. He steps in the sink. Now he just falls onto the fucking floor between us, basically.
Yeah.
And, he was probably about 40-something at the time.
Yeah.
And he just,
He's feeling
big
it.
thump, and we just stopped, and it was over then.
Yeah.
Now, years later, I go to do this show. And he goes, you remember me? And I'm like, no. And he goes, you remember you punched me in the face in the bathroom when we were doing lines? And I'm like, holy shit, you're Rob? And he goes, yeah. He goes, guess what? It's my turn now.
No.
Yep. And now I'm surrounded by them. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I had it. But he didn't do anything. But just that scared the shit out of me.
Fuck, yeah.
Scared the shit out of me.
Speaking of revenge.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, but we were good friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were assholes. Yeah, we were. But it was just like, you know what I mean? It was like my turn now. And it was like, wow.
Yeah, there's some, not so much now, but there's a little while there where I was worried going back to Toronto. Like I had wreaked so much fucking havoc. I was worried I wasn't going to see it coming,
Well, that's what, like, people disappeared in Staten Island.
Right.
Like, that's what happened. Like, one guy just disappeared.
Wow.
Never talked about him after that. But he fucked up somewhere at a club. Fucked with the wrong person. And he disappeared.
You don't think he's down in Florida?
No. No, he's probably in the dump.
Yeah.
But, he's probably in a million pieces that you'll never find him. But he fucked up, And then I remember his brother got into a fight and got his nose was cut off. Basically cut off. They had to put it back together. And basically, it was the weirdest thing because we're in the bar. We're in the bar today. Like, I'd go in the day and be at the bar.
Yeah.
It wasn't many people, but he went to the Ding Dong, it was called. It's like a 7-Eleven or Wawa today. 3 doors down in the mall thing where the bar was, and he puts on a mask and robs the place.
Oh, boy.
Of course, the guy calls, and he said, yeah, he had his nose was missing, basically. You know what I mean? His nose is hanging out, and in the paper it says description on the nose. You know what I mean?
So everybody knows who it is.
Yeah, but it was like he had a mask on, but it wasn't covering his nose. That was basically like, you've seen the fucking bad.
Yeah.
I mean, this is 1980, 1982,
Right.
and the work was not, you know what I mean? It's like, how do somebody got their nose cut off? How do you put it back on? You just put it back on. It looks like you put together like a baseball mitt that was ripped up by a dog back together. Yeah. And it was just insane to like fucking, there was shootouts in the bar, like fucking, my friend that was when there was like fucking, it was the pizza Coke times. Remember when the pizzeria sold Coke and that? And one guy came next door, he's playing the Joker poker machine, and he was connected, and he pulled out a gun. And he shot, and then my friend was just being a cop. He pulled it out of his ankle, shot the guy right through the door, and it was like fucking insane.
Wow.
It was like, it was like fucking, this is insane. Like when you witness shit, like, or fucking hear about it, you're like, wow, this is like, I could have been standing right there.
Yeah.
And the bullets went through everywhere, and it's like the glass blew out, and fucking. It's like people are going the pizza place, Chinese place.
It's funny though because like people, you hear that type of story now and you're like, oh, that would only happen in some fucking ghetto black neighborhood in Chicago, but no,
it happens
I don't give a fuck what color you are, man. When you put fucking a bunch of poor people together, you're gonna see some wild, crazy shit. Especially back then.
If you put anybody together back then, everybody had a little. It was like, I'm tougher, I'm better.
Yeah.
I'm going to prove it to you. Everybody had something to prove.
Right.
And why they had something to prove, I have no idea.
Jesus fucking Christ. I think toxic masculinity is bad.
Yeah.
I've had this enlightenment for this podcast.
No, it really, it was insane. It was like, now I have to let things go. It's so hard to let things go because you're just not trained to be like that.
Yeah.
It's like right away, it's like, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
It's like fucking right off the bat. I know it was from the Xanax. Like that helped a lot when I didn't realize how bad that shit was. But they had me on 6 milligrams a day, and like when I stopped drinking, I was on that, and I was on Stern, and like everything. I was still drinking, and it was just like it was bad. It was like I'm going to die if I continue to stay on here,
right? Because
I don't understand why people are backstabbers on there, and everybody just stood out for themselves, and I was like, this is. And then, to be on the radio, you had to drink. You had to, you didn't have to, but if you were fucking crazy, you'd get on the air all the time.
Right.
And, you know how to do it. And
right.
That was
you get tuned up.
And then it was like, I'm not going to live if I continue this, you know? It's like I can't keep topping myself.
Right.
I really have to just go away.
Right.
Because, anyway, I'm not going to be another person that just fucking...
And when was this, when you had this realization?
after like 8 years, 7, 8 years, I was like, it's too much. I'm
Right.
busting my balls to just be a mess.
Right.
And I was like, I got to just get out of here. I can't do this anymore. I want to move on.
Right.
You know, and then it got to the point where I was, you know, some of the people there tricked me. You know, they knew I'm very, you know what I mean. Yeah, well, they're like, well, you're banned from the building because you're not going to be on the show anymore. You're not going to go on another show, so you're banned from the building because you attacked security. And I'm like, no, I fucking didn't. So now I'm threatening to kill people, but not kill people, trying to get attention.
Right.
So they say, hey, what's going on?
Right.
They're not like that. Nobody's like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nobody.
Right.
Everybody's like, just call the FBI, just call the NYPD, blah. And that's what I had to deal with. And that's what they're sitting here telling me I can't say this stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to get attention because I want to explain myself.
Right.
But nobody wants to do that. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's
right,
like,
right.
we got him. Now he's not allowed in the building. Ooh, we won. Big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still alive, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters.
You get
know?
that goddamn fucking computer back up and going, and you can threaten whoever you want. I mean, it's probably not a good idea.
Nah, you can't.
Not these days.
You can't.
Your
you
boys
know?
will be back.
Well, that's what it is. It's like, fucking, what are you going to throw me in jail for words? And I was like saying that to them, and they're like, you can't do this. Just move on. And I'm like, I can't move on because I can't go into the building where the other radio is.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is it?
I got nothing.
What kind of cry? I'm like, I'm not going to do anything. If I was going to do it, I would do it. You know, I
Right.
wouldn't announce it. And it just didn't work right, you know. It was like, all right. But I was very, you know, it's like.
It was
hey,
a good fucking run while it lasted.
That's what I'm saying.
You
It
ate
was a
blue
good
cheese
run.
out of a couple hundred chicks' asses,
Yeah.
and only one guy wanted to murder you.
Yeah.
You ate blue cheese out of a mother and a daughter's ass.
Yeah, in front
of their father.
That's my daughter up there.
That's my girl. Oh shit, Bob! Listen, let's wrap it right there.
Let's wrap.
Oh wait. Did you ever see any of the fucking whack pack goofballs get any altercations, like physical altercations, when you guys were out there doing those wild shows?
No, I mean,
No, huh?
Beetlejuice was very calm, but he always, you know, nobody would fuck with him.
Right.
You know what I mean? They would get him drunk, and I didn't like that, but, you know. But no, he was a pleasure. You know, he was a pleasure to be with when it was just you and him. Like when he would come here, he would wander around my house, like in the neighborhood, like at 4 in the morning, and he'd tell people when we first moved in, he goes, "Yeah, this is my house. They're living with me."
Oh, they must have been so fucking relieved when that wasn't the
they
case.
knew who he was. Like they knew when I was moving in, they knew who I was.
Right.
And then when they seen him, they're like, "Oh my God," you know.
Yeah.
And then
It's like a star.
yeah, it's like he's like
so
fucking,
crazy.
he's like the burnt Elvis.
What a piece of history to be a part of.
No, it was, and that's
Yeah.
what, you know what I mean. You got to get out of it before you die.
That's it.
Because
That's
when
so
you
interesting.
are somebody that would drink to
Yeah.
no end, do coke to no end, do anything to no end.
Yeah. And when you're in that situation, there's no end. There's always somebody there to fucking to buy you some
Everything
drinks
was
or
given
shoot you
to
some
you.
coke.
Everything was given to you. People
Yeah.
wanted to hang out with you. It's not. You can't do it. I look back at it and I go, I would have never done it probably.
At least you knew enough to get a fucking house, man.
Well, I knew to get out because I didn't want to. It was no good for my life anymore.
right.
It was no good. It was going to ruin everything. And I'll always, you know, now I got the car accident. I go, now I reinvent myself again.
Yeah.
And that's all right. It's
Yeah.
all right to keep changing as long as you're happy.
Yeah.
As long as you're happy with yourself.
Even if you're not, you got to. So then you get up and you tough it out and you go through the dark time. You know.
Well, that's what it is. I've been through the dark time with,
Right.
you know, sitting there and not being able to move my head and just in pain all the time. I'm still in pain, but I'm get used to pain. Then when I get the operation, I'll feel better as much as I
Hopefully you
can.
don't get hooked on the meds post-op.
I'm not probably taking any. I've
Are you
dealt
sober?
with pain. Yeah,
Oh shit. I didn't know
totally. I'll smoke a little weed for pain.
that.
That's it. I'll take you know, it's the weed pens that actually have the stuff of the pain. You get a little high, but
Right.
it works. It works, and
CBD
that's what.
oil or something like
Yeah,
that?
that's what people should be taking. You smoke it, and it's not the tea. It's just for the pain. It goes right to the pain. It fixes the headaches, all that bullshit, and you feel like you're relaxed. You're able to get through the anxiety that you get from being off Xanax and that. And that
interesting.
was shit from the doctors that gave
Interesting.
you. But this is the way of the future, if they allow it, that's going to help people.
It's fucking everywhere right now.
Yeah, but people, they're fighting for it.
I
in
bet
Jersey's
I bet those fucking pharmaceutical companies are pushing back hard.
Oh, of course, because this shit gets you addicted to it, and you can't get
Damn
off
right.
it. You almost, if I had a video of me getting off this shit, you would be like, oh my god, like you're like dying. You think you're dying. You look like you're dying, and people need to see that, and they don't allow you to tape that shit,
Right.
Because something can happen. You can die,
Right.
So, but like, it's like, why would I ever go back to these pills? Why would anyone ever go back to it? If you went through fucking withdrawals, how can you go back to that?
Yeah.
How can you go back to using again?
Yeah.
There's no fucking. That's why I don't understand how people are at rehab 5-6 times. You know what I mean? I went there once, and I said, I'm never coming back. And they're like, yeah, we all thought that. And I'm like, no, I'm here to get off.
But you guys are fucking losers.
Yeah, no, but that's the teachers telling me. Those are the
Yeah.
instructors telling me.
Yeah.
How many people are not coming back? Me, I'm not. Yeah, well, we all thought that.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I'm not coming back. And like, okay, we'll see. And I'm like, no, I'm not coming back. I go, you got the medicine here, you can get the medicine there, and in prison to get off heroin, alcohol. If you're going to die from drinking when you stop,
Right.
they have that. And,
Fucking Narcan or
and
something
the
like that?
opioids.
Right.
So they have it there. You can't get it from your regular doctor, so you have to go to rehab or jail to get off of those.
Right.
You know what I mean? For drinking and that shit. You can get the Suboxone shit at your doctor, but if you're hooked on these pills, you can't. And now they crushing up pills with fentanyl in it, and
Yeah.
you're gonna die. You're gonna die. When they told our parents told us you're gonna die from weed, we knew from drugs. We knew it was good shit.
Yeah.
Now, when you
Yeah.
say, I'm saying you're gonna die, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
There's a good chance you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Even it's in coke. It's
Yeah.
100%.
It's a straight fucking epidemic.
Well, people are pissing that were there for heroin. We're pissing 100% fentanyl.
Wow.
So you're going to die. And they're like, why do they care about killing? Because they're making more money. You're always going to have some. It's more addicting. So your clientele is going to keep coming back, and it's going to be more people coming in, even though they're dying by record
Right.
numbers. It doesn't matter. It's still money.
Right.
And on that, get into comedy, kids.
That's all, folks. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Bob, thanks so much, man, for letting me come over and shoot the shit. There you go. There you have it, folks. The blue cheese tail, straight from the horse's mouth. Reverend Bob Levy, thanks so much. Let's watch the rest of this game.
Yeah, and Syndicate Radio I'll be on soon on the internet. Syndicate Radio.
Oh, great.
SyndicateRadio.tv, or you go on Facebook, Syndicate Radio. But you'll see it. I'll post it all
Yeah, sweet.
on my 4 fucking Facebooks.
You know what? By the time this comes out, it'll probably be rolling with that. So we'll we'll link it all up.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, beautiful. Thanks, man.
We're out.